Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching. First off, apologies if the quality of this video is not so great for the video or audio. If you see my last video, you'll understand why I broke my camera. Long story. Check out the video if you want to support me to get another camera. So in this video, I'm going to go over... I've done a video in the past about this, and that was about my top stretches for guitar and bass players to prevent injury. Still relevant. It didn't get many views, and it's a good video, I think. But I'm going to link that below so you can see, so I don't do redundant stuff, because there's still good content there for stretches and exercises. But basically, it doesn't even, I put as guitar and bass players, but it's really for anyone doing any repetitive motions. We call it RSI, which is repetitive stress injury, I think it stands for, if I remember right. And it can be a whole bundle of different things, injuries you can get from any physical activity that's repetitive, or especially if you're using the wrong technique, or it can just happen. It could be tendonitis, it could be ligament damage or carpal tunnel syndrome. There's a bunch of them. I'm no doctor, so I won't go into all that too much. I'll go about my own experiences, ways I've overcome those injuries and ways to prevent them. So hopefully you're going to find this video before as a preventative cause and not here because you're trying to heal something that's happened, because that part it sucks. I've gone through it a few times for different reasons. Quite a few for playing instruments. So let's get started. I mean, really, you want to warm up. Playing an instrument is a physical thing. Even typing is a physical thing. That's where people get carpal tunnel from typing, and it's usually from wrong posture. Their wrists are hyper or overextended, whatever. Both of those, the posture. So we'll go into posture for your instrument. Basically, just, look up proper posture and try to follow that. The biggest thing I see for people playing guitar or bass is when they wear a strap. I wear my guitar or bass a bit lower than when I'm sitting, where it's going to sit on my lap. There, it's kind of stuck there, and it's going to be in a natural position, unless you do something funky with your arm and the angle of your wrist is like that. You want to have your wrist pretty much straight as possible for the instrument to play properly. A lot of people like to wear their straps too low, and that causes this, especially on the fretting hand, for your wrist to have to bend. Let me grab a guitar to show you an example. So, okay, I don't play progs. I don't wear my guitar up here, which would be ideal. But I wear it, around here. My wrist is still at a good position, even a bit lower. If I start going like this, that's a bad angle for my wrist. And I'm doing all this work with my fingers. And it's going to cause problems. Maybe not. You can go a long time without problems, but it'll catch up to you if you play enough. A good example was, off the top of my head, was Dave Mustaine, the founder of Megadeth, the former Metallica guitarist. He had a problem with this. I think it was tendonitis or something, where he noticed it and he had no problems because he could still clench and push on the frets. And he kept playing that way. He didn't really take care of it, and then it got to the point where he was having problems lifting the fingers up and had to stop playing and go through physical therapy and all this fun stuff to be able to play again. So it's when it happens, it sucks, trust me. So hopefully this will kind of show you how to prevent it, but also show you ways to heal from it faster, because it's a process to heal from it. And if you can't, there's no shortcuts. And everybody's different. It could take a month, 3 months, a year. And also, usually these kind of injuries, when you have them, you're more prone to get them again, especially if you're not extra careful, but it can happen easier once you've already had it. So these are important things. Long story short, before doing any physical activity, including playing an instrument, you want to stretch and warm up first. So that's where I'll put the link to that video I did a few years back below. I'll show a lot of good exercises and warm-ups and stretches and stuff like that. Not everybody wants to spend 30 minutes of stretching and warming up before playing, so it's going to depend on how intense you're playing. If you're going to be playing for hours or playing, for me personally, when I play live, I put a lot more into it. I get a little bit more adrenaline going and tend to do things I shouldn't do, like put way more, uh, playing less relaxed, you could say. So when I play live, I spend a bit more time on this stuff. Or if I'm going to do a very intense jam session or recording session, I'll put a little bit more extra time into this. So there's a lot of things just to, if you keep that up, it helps in many aspects and helps avoid injury. Once you've gotten some kind of, like, I'll give a couple examples of what I've had, which really sucked. And a lot of it was in my right hand, and it affected holding a pick. And really, it was very painful. I think I have a high pain tolerance, and this would probably be like on a high 7 of a 1 to 10 scale, where it was like painful at a point to just pick up a pen, and it hurt to grip like that. And that was affecting, it felt like here, it was hurting my thumb. I did something screwed up to my thumb, or I put too much pressure and I damaged a ligament or a tendon. I don't know. I didn't go to a doctor about it. And I was just getting tired of it hurting and tried everything possible to make it recover. The first thing people are going to tell you about recovery for this kind of thing is don't use that part that hurts. Sounds simple enough, and it can take months. So if it's on your right hand and your thumb and first finger, try to not use that hand for 5 minutes and see how frustrating that is. So it was very aggravating, especially, trying to play guitar. So what I actually ended up doing was stop using a pick for a while. It just kept getting worse. So I stopped using a pick and played everything with fingers. And that gave me a bit of, that healing time for it to get better. There's not a lot of things, I should say, you can do once it's done. Once that damage is done, it has to rest and recover. The only thing you can really do that'll help that, I found, I don't know if this actually helped, but that's what I did, and it seems to have helped, and a lot of people suggested it. It's taking things like MSN or glucosamine, things that'll help repair the damage to the tendons or the ligaments. The rest was the best thing. You can use different balms, anti-inflammatories, things like that. That's just going to help it feel better, but it's got to actually heal. And it won't heal if you keep putting stress and damage on it. I had that happen a couple times with the thumb. One time was from just out of playing, after playing for a long time, and another time was I was working, I think in the garden or something, where I was really having to grip hard on stuff, and it screwed it up again. Most recent was probably the worst one I had, and it's a form of tendonitis, and that was, people know it as tennis elbow. In my right arm, I messed up my elbow big time last year, and that took at least a good 4 months to recover. It's fine now, it's back to normal, and I'm very careful about it. And I actually did that damage from when I got into blacksmithing, using a hammer incorrectly, wrong grip, and blowing out my elbow. And it's a term also known as blacksmith's elbow. And it can happen to anyone, but especially if you're using the wrong technique. And that goes back to the posture, the whole thing I was saying, like how you're holding your instrument. So when you have an injury like that, you want to look into first what caused it, because you do not want to repeat it. You want to learn from that mistake. So that's what I did. And actually, through different blacksmith groups and forums, I got a lot of good advice from that, because that happens frequently with people into the trade, just like burns. But they gave me some cool advice that I never thought of or heard of before, which, it helped. Some of it helped for me, some of it didn't work for me, some of it works for other people. One thing was, of course, just give it rest. If you can get tendonitis in the elbow even from instruments, it happens. And in that case, they recommend using like these kind of braces. This one would just kind of help me a little bit. There's other like more fancy ones that they have this weird like bump in the inside, and it actually hits on a pressure point. And I found that when you find the right place, it would actually help. At the same time, it kind of reminds you to like be careful on that arm and lifting and motions that hurt. Because if there's something that hurts, don't do it. You're just gonna prolong the healing process or make it worse. Another one I found, and this is interesting, is because like a lot of when we're playing an instrument, we're usually working this way with gripping, and there's no resistance lifting the fingers, and most exercises. So we get very little exercise of how the ligaments and the tendons work to actually bring the fingers up. And there's certain exercises to actually strengthen that. If you have an injury, do not do these. Wait till it's healed, then do these. And one I found that's very simple and effective is take a rubber band. Don't start with a really thick one. And like I said, make sure you're healed first. Put it around your fingers of the arm or hand or wrist, wherever it hurts. Put it around your fingers and just open it up, close it. Don't go crazy like opening really fast. Just feel the pressure. Thicker rubber band wouldn't hurt, but this is what I had in hand. And I'm just kind of like holding it. I feel that pressure. And it's a small rubber band, but it's a workout. Don't overdo it. Just do it a few repetitions, take a break, and do it again. And just, well, when I have even this is a preventative measure. So I've been doing this even though my elbow's healed. Everything's healed. I'll still do this because that works out those, I don't even know the medical term for it, the opposite things of what you're doing to close the hand. Another one I've seen suggested, I have not committed to doing very often, but it's good, is take some kind of weight. You can use like if you have weights, just take the weights off or the bell or the bar or something heavy. This is just like a chisel. And hold your arms out and let it go down and raise it. You can do this in a few positions. One is to rest your arms over a table and just over the edge of the table like that. You'll feel it works out different muscles. And that will build up pretty much everything you don't normally build up from all the opposite motions, if that makes sense. So you should always have a sort of warm-up routine with your instrument. And most people do. You don't just jump in and start playing full ability. You usually warm up, exercises, scales, stuff like that. Just a general rule of thumb is start out slow and relaxed. It's very important to play relaxed. No matter how fast, no matter how intense you're playing, the more relaxed you're playing, the better you're going to play. The more you practice playing relaxed and warm up that way, you're going to improve that. And that's going to be a quality as a musician. You'll never stop improving, hopefully. There's always room for improvement there, I should say. Slow, relax, breathe. Those are important. So when I start out just a warm-up, I'm going to go through it slowly, relaxed, and just take my time and play. That's really my main goal, is make sure everything's relaxed. I'm going to ask myself, is it relaxed, or am I feeling tension here or in my fingers or somewhere? If my answer is yes, I'm going to try to correct that. And that will alone prevent a lot. There's a lot of stretches. I mean, there's some for the wrist. You hold your arm, make sure it's straight out, and pull back. Put enough tension, hold it, breathe, count to 10, whatever, slowly. Then the opposite. Do it on both hands. There's a lot of these things that you can do. Even like these kind of like motions. Hands out is better. I'm just trying to get into the aim of the camera. Those all help. And you'll feel it working usually all the way up to the shoulder in different cases. But yeah, those are just a few. Like I said, I go over more actual stretching exercises in the video. I'll link below. But can't stress enough that I hope people find this as a way of prevention and not coming here as a way of recovery, because that part is very tedious. It's going to put you out of being able to play your instrument. And if you're like me, very stubborn about that and very committed to playing the instrument, you're going to keep playing anyways, and it's going to just prolong the recovery time. Thanks for watching. Till next time.